Okay, this is going to be a lesson on rhythm. This is volume 1, and it's going to be mostly centered around eighth notes. In music, you count the time, and then we call that rhythm when you're counting time. Rhythm. We call that time. Okay, that's the groove, that's the beat, that's the rhythm. So in this short, try to keep it to 10-minute lesson, we're going to deal with every possible combination that you can have that involve eighth notes. And once you learn all about the eighth notes, it's much easier to learn about sixteenths and then shuffles and stuff like that. So, but here we're going to talk about 2-beat combinations of eighth notes. And the first 2-beat combination doesn't include an eighth note, but it's the half note, okay? The half note equals 2 beats. And so if I was to write the note on the music paper, we're not concerned about the pitches. We're really just concerned about the rhythms, but I did notate it on a piece of staff paper. 2/4 time, half note gets 2 beats. You would count it 1, 2, okay? So it'd be like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, that's the half note. The next one is the quarter note, and it looks like this. Each quarter note gets 1 beat, and you can make it like this with a head on it. But let's just, for the purpose of this lesson, since we're not so much worried about the notes, I had no choice but to show the half note with a head on it, but the quarter note is 1 each. 1, 2, 1, 2. So each of those gets 1, or, you know, if you're counting it out, it'd be 1, 2. So here's a half note, 1, 2, 1, 2, quarter note, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, half note, quarter note. So 1, 2, each of those gets 1. All right. Possible pattern number 3 is where we introduce the eighth notes. The eighth notes has either a flag or a stem on it, and we'll get to all that. It's 1 and 2 and. All right, we'll call that 2 to keep it consistent. So half note, 2, half note, 2, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, eighth note, okay, half note gets 2 beats, quarter note each get 1 beat, eighth notes each get a half a beat, 1 and 2 and. All right, this is a bar. When you're showing more than one together, I'll show you some of the differences of that. Pattern number 4 is a quarter note and 2 eighth notes. 1, 2 and. It would be like 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1. Okay. Half note, 2, quarter note, eighth note, quarter note, and 2 eighth notes. So 1, 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and... See what we're doing? It's simple when you divide it up and conquer it in a systematic way. All right, pattern number 5 is 2/8 notes and a quarter note. All right, so it'd be 1 and 2. All right, so it'd be 1 and 2, 1 and 2, either legato or staccato. If it's 2 staccato, then you'd show 8th notes. We're going to get into that. Don't worry about it at this point. We're just showing the patterns, possible patterns. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. All right, pattern number 6 introduces the dot and the flag. All right, this is 2/8 notes connected for ease of reading. This is just 1/8 note and it uses a flag. Okay, I guess you'd probably call that a bar, but actually I've never really thought about it. The stem, this is the stem. Anyway, 6 is, so it's 1, 2, and 1 and 1, 2 and 1. 2 is absorbed in the dot. The dot lengthens the value by 1/2. So whereas a quarter note equals 1 beat, a half note equals 2 beats, an 8th note equals 1/2 of a beat. A dotted quarter is going to be 1 plus a half. So a dotted quarter gets 1.5 beats. So 1 and 1 and 1, 2, 2. You sustain it 2 through the 2. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1. See what I'm doing? All right, pattern number 7 is 1 and, so that would be 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and. So 1 and 2 and 3/8 notes in that. I guess you could call that a 1 and 2 if you wanted to. All absorbed in that one note. All right, the last one, number 8, is 1 and. So it's an 8th note, a quarter note, and an 8th note. So it'd be counted 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and. Okay, so there's only 8 possible 2-beat combinations. These are your 8 combinations. I'll post this on my Facebook page, Tom Blackwell Bass on Facebook, at Tom Blackwell Bass on Facebook, at Tom Blackwell Bass on Facebook. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. So there's only 8 possible combinations. I guess I'm gonna run out of time to do the rest, but real quickly, I'll tell you that the quarter note rest looks kind of like a 3, and the 8th note rest looks about like that. So a quarter note rest and 2/8 note rest, 1, 2, and rest, 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 and so forth and so on. So the way you get your 64 permutations is, say you wanted to combine 4, for most music is written in 4/4 times, so you got to have 4 beats per bar for that. So let's say you would combine one of these eighths with another one of these eighths. So let's say you combine 2 beats, number 1 for 2 beats, and another number 1 for 2 beats. So that's another combination. That's another one of the 64 4-beat combinations, 64 possible 4-beat permutations or combinations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be 2 half notes. Or you could combine number 1 with number 2, a half note and 2 quarter notes. So you'd be able to put number 1 with any of these combinations, and that'd be 8. Then you put number 2 with any of these combinations, 1, 2, and then a whole half note. So when you put it all together, 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1, all 8 times 8, you got 64 possible 4-beat permutations or combinations. And there's only 8 possible 2-beat combinations. And then when you add the rest in there, a half note rest looks like this. Looks like a hat on the line. A whole note rest looks like a gentleman tips his hat to the ladies, so it looks like this. So a half note rest, he's got it on his head. A whole note rest, a gentleman, he tips his hat to the ladies, and so it's upside down hat.